go, round 2. I'm doing an update video. I have already filmed this, but I didn't like the setting, I didn't like everything, plus it's so disjointed on top of everything else. Nice. Oh goodness. Okay, here, take your passive. Okay. You want to sit with me? Yeah, Scarlett took her shirt off and pulled out one pigtail, so there's that. You sit here, come here, come sit with mommy. Come here. Step up on your... Okay. Move your hands, move your hands. Okay. Hi! Welcome to the video. Okay guys, sorry. Two kid life. Another kiss. Scarlett, can you say hi?
Hi.
Yeah, that's very nice. Okay, so postpartum update. I'm gonna do me and I'm gonna do him. They're probably gonna be a little bit blended because that's what happened the first time I filmed this, but I'm gonna start with me. This postpartum recovery has been a lot easier than Scarlett's. With her, they had to do this really intense thing called suprapubic pressure to get her out because her head came out and the rest of her was stuck. And so essentially what they do... This is funny. Okay. So essentially what they do in the suprapubic pressure is they do a huge like CPR action right on your pubic bone that kind of separates everything so the baby's shoulders can fit through because she had a shoulder dysplasia. And so they did not have to do that for him, although they were very close. One of the nurses actually had her hands on my pubic bone ready to do it because he also got stuck, but they managed to get him out without doing that. So I think that's really helped my recovery. Like after 3 days, I could walk essentially without pain. There was a little bit of pain. With her, it took me 14 weeks to walk without anything. I'm sure also because he's the second that happens too, but that's made the recovery a lot easier. And with her, I tore internally. I think I needed like 15 stitches or something like that. And with him, I actually tore externally a little bit. That's right, with baby bro. Yeah. I tore externally. I needed, I think, 4 or 5 stitches. So, very different. I don't really know which one, you know, is better or worse. Neither one of them are fun. It's just a bit different. With the external, you can feel the stitches a little more. And I hope you guys can hear everything I'm trying to say. Scarlett, sweetie, I'm trying to talk to our friends, okay? Yeah? Do you want to come sit with me and be quiet? Do you want to read a book? So yeah, that's as far as recovery goes. This time's been a lot easier. For me, postpartum is a lot more, I get a lot more hormonal, I feel like, than pregnancy. I get really emotional. I get so many hot flashes. Postpartum, I'm like sweating all the time. And I get some of those during pregnancy, but I think I definitely get more postpartum. So it was so interesting. So this being my second kid, I'm gonna kind of scream and hope that you can hear me over her. This being my second kid, I went through a phase where like I was super connected to him because I was changing him and feeding him and having to kind of help him all the time. And Grayson was on Scarlett duty, and so I went through a phase where I just felt like really disconnected from her, and I really missed her, even though I was spending all my time, you know, around the kids. Thankfully, Grayson was working from home, or he took some time off, and then he was working from home, so he was actually able to spend a lot of time with her. And we had talked about it, and I was just telling him I was sad that I felt so disconnected, and he was saying, you know, actually the opposite. Like, he felt so connected to her and has just really enjoyed the time. And so I'm so thankful that he got that, and I think that's really sweet. So it was kind of like bittersweet for me because I was like happy that he got the time, but just sad because I felt like I hadn't been able to play with her and hang out with her. And not to mention, you're technically not supposed to pick up anything but your new baby for the first like 6 weeks or something crazy. So that was tough the first week that I actually followed the rule. So next I was going to talk about breastfeeding, which kind of I guess will work my way into him. And so breastfeeding has been going well. Guys, I get really intense oversupply, and it's really hard. So he was born Sunday evening, and my milk came in Monday night into Tuesday. So it came really quick, and it came with force, like force. And so that's always really hard because if any of you have oversupply, you know that it's really hard to feed your baby like that because they like choke on it because it comes so quickly. a lot of times getting them to feed is like wrestling because they like can't handle it. They're like shaking their head, they push away. It's really challenging. I've also been using a nipple shield just because my babies tend to have a hard time latching just based on the shape of me and everything. My breasts get really engorged and very painful, and I don't even know what size they turn into. I'm lucky and I get no stretch marks during pregnancy, but during when my milk comes in, I get them all across my boobs. They fade pretty well. Hey guys, real life parenting. I think we're gonna have to go have lunch and come back and film this after nap because we're done. All done. Yeah, mommy's all done too. Okay, let's go have lunch. Come on. Okay, guys, where were we? It is currently like 5 hours later. I think she's getting some more teeth because she has been woo-wee, whiny girl. So I'm back. Here we are. I believe I was talking about oversupply. One of the things, I think I was talking about like engorgement. So my boobs get super full and super swollen and like rock hard and just leak and squirt milk like crazy. So my babies have a really hard time drinking from them, and then they get a lot of fore milk and not as much hind milk because by the time the hind milk comes in, they're done. And so that's kind of tricky. I've been really trying so hard this time to not pump, which is so hard because it's so painful. But I have a lifesaver product for you. This is not sponsored. I just wanted to share it with any of you mamas who are oversuppliers and just need help and immediate relief. Get the Haakaa. I think that's how you say it. H-A-A-K-A-A. If I remember, I always seem to forget, I will link it below. It's like $13 on Amazon. I talked about this in my Instagram stories because I just wanted to get it out there because I know that one day can make such a big difference as far as relief goes. So I was hoping I could help at least one person. This thing is amazing. You literally, I use it so when he's feeding on my left, I'll put it on my right. You just stick it on your boob, squeeze it, and it suctions there and it stays. It can come off, like sometimes he's kicked it off before, but you can usually feel when the suction starts to loosen up. So I fill this whole thing by the time he's finished eating. And it's about 3 to 4 ounces. I will say, the one thing I will say, the measurements on the sides, I don't think it's that accurate, but who cares? I literally don't care. It provides so much relief. It's amazing. So it works well because the electric pump stimulates more production, but this pump is like hand expressing with a little bit of extra help. So it's not like pumping with a regular pump, which is why it's good for overproducers. So I can like show you on my leg, because I'm not going to show you my boob, but you stick it on and then you suck it and then it kind of stays there. I don't even know if you can see my leg. Hopefully you can. But it just kind of stays like that, and it kind of helps like draw the milk out. It's amazing. I recommend this. I've recommended this to like 6 people since I've had it for like a couple weeks. Okay, bud. Okay, it's okay. Come here. They've both been fussy today. I don't know what it is. It's not even that, ouch. It's not even that hot in here today like the other days. Here, huh? Do you want your passy? If you're an overproducer, get the Haakaa. Don't even think about it. It's $13. I would buy it for you. Like, it is so worth it. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about as far as overproduction, oversupply goes. I would say to you, if you are not an oversupplier or you are an undersupplier, don't say like, oh, it's better that you have more than not enough. That is so frustrating to hear sometimes, because yes, I understand there's some truth to that. I'm so thankful I can feed my babies. It really is amazing, and I'm very thankful for it. But it's not all just great, you have all this milk. Like, it's really hard, it's very painful. Your babies drown, they get the form, like there are things that go along with it as well that are very frustrating and just really painful. And so just be sensitive to that, because so many times if I mention to anyone like, oh, you know, I have oversupply, oh, lucky, like better that than the opposite. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's great I can make milk, but it's also it's difficult in its own ways. Just like undersupply is difficult in its own ways. So just be sensitive to that. It's not, I mean, thankfully I'm not taking any of it personally, but it's just like, yeah, you know, there's pros and cons. So just want to throw that out there. But yeah, on to the next. I think I'm on to him now. Let's check the list. Okay, so now we're on to the river update. Also, I hope that this rocking isn't like making you dizzy, but I don't really have a choice because he's a little bit fast. So this is really funny. On here, I have it listed as like 1 week update. Like, belly button's gone, John, like I never got around to it. I'm sorry guys, he is 6 weeks old. He's doing great. He doesn't have a jaundice, his belly button thing fell off, his hole in his heart has cleared up. So all those things I meant to tell you like 5 weeks ago, you're getting them now. We kind of thought he was gonna be like a dream baby as far as sleep goes. Granted, he is much better than Scarlett ever was, so we're not complaining at all. But he's a decent sleeper. He's not great, he's not horrible, so he's just average. He kind of does like anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours stretch. That one random time he did 5.5 hours and we were like, what in the world? That's not happened again. Usually he does between, you know, I would say 2 is his average. He's pretty good, consistent with 2. In the day, he does typically 2 hour stretches, I would say. He loves to sleep on his tummy and his side. So during the day, I let him nap on his tummy and his side, and during the night, he's on his back or his side because I just, you know, the whole SIDS thing is like really scary, and research shows that having them on their back is best, like whatever. So I'm just going with it. So yeah, he's doing well. He's definitely a tummy sleeper, just like Scarlett. So when he's old enough and strong enough and big enough, and he flips over there himself, we'll just probably leave him like we did with her. I didn't sleep for like a week, and then I got over it, and hopefully the same happens with him. As far as feeding goes, he does a really good job, especially considering the oversupply. He manages it well. Sometimes I pump a little bit before, just to kind of relieve some of that like intense shooting action in his face. And I meant to mention this before, I do block feeding, so I only feed on one side every feeding for, you know, 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll do the other side, and that helps him get that hind milk and helps the other boob learn to not make so much all the time. So that's something else as far as oversupply that I've been doing. So he does a pretty good job. He eats more than she ever did. I would say he'll probably eat for like 15-ish minutes, 15, 20 minutes. It's not like eating the whole time. He kind of takes breaks, kind of dozes off, wakes up, or just looks around a little bit with the nipple in his mouth. He also takes a bottle. We started him that on his like 2-week birthday. We gave him his first bottle. It's always what our pediatrician recommends, and he takes it very well. I think he likes it because he can regulate the speed of his sucking versus my boobs just kind of squirting it in his face. So I think he really enjoys that. We give him a couple bottles a week of breast milk that I've pumped or good, because I pump usually before bed because I need to get more out so I can actually sleep a little bit. But he's a good little eater. He does a good job. And guys, I don't know if it's just because he's a boy or what, but this guy farts so much. It's hilarious. Not as much just randomly during the day, but when he's waking up from a nap, it's like there's a trumpet in our living room. It's hilarious. I can't even handle it. It's so funny. They're like grown human farts. Like I'm literally like, Grayson, is that you? And he's like, no, that was River. But it's also great because I can blame it on the kid if something happens to slip out. But he's a gassy little guy. It's actually really cute. Grayson and I just laugh at him every time he's waking up. It's so funny. So he got his baby acne started at 3 weeks, and it went away really quickly. We started bathing him every night, but only using soap like twice a week. So just putting him in the water, especially since it's been so hot here and we have no air. So he gets sweaty, and I think part was baby acne, the other part was heat rash. And so just kind of cooling him off and putting him in the water, cleaning his sweat off, I think that's really helped with his rash because it's almost gone. Along with his old man bald spot, look at that. It's growing in so fast. It came out really quickly and it's growing in really quickly. So that's fun too. He'll have hair soon. One of the last things I think I wanted to talk about was his tongue. he is tongue-tied a little bit. And I remember Scarlett was too, and we didn't do anything with it, and she kind of like, as she grew up, it seemed like it kind of got better, like I think her tongue grew, or I don't know what it is, but his is worse than hers, but the doctor doesn't say like, oh, you need to do it. His does what they call forking. They call it forking, so sometimes like on the top of his tongue, it looks like he's got like 2 tongues, but not really, it's just like the tissue's being pulled, so there's like a line down the center. The doctor's not too worried about it. It's a super easy fix if we do decide to do something. Obviously, we don't want to put him through anything that he doesn't need, so we're just going to kind of keep an eye on it and see. Right now, we're not planning on doing anything, but if it seems to be an issue, we'll reevaluate. Yeah, that's all about little River Bear. I think that's everything I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you have any questions, comment below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Yeah, I think that's everything. We're all doing really well. Scarlett loves her little brother so much. She calls him baby bro, and she gives him his passy. When we go to bed, she has to give him a kiss at night, and like we didn't tell her to do that. Like we give her a kiss, she says goodnight to mommy, she says goodnight to daddy, and if we have company over, she'll say goodnight, give him a kiss, and now it's like baby bro, and she has to give him a kiss. It's really, really sweet. So it's been really fun to see them interact already, and she's only 19 months, so we've been having a fun old time, haven't we, bud? Do you love your big sister? Alrighty, well, hopefully I get this out to you before he turns, you know, like 2 months old. But that's everything. Again, comment below if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. Bye guys. Remember, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.